Hello folks, welcome to API Test Automation with REST Assured tutorial. I am Faisal Khatri. In the previous video, we learned how to verify the status code and content type using three different approaches with REST Assured. In this video, I'll demonstrate how to verify the response headers and log the request and response details. Verifying the response headers. Validating a response header ensures that the API returns the expected metadata such as content type, confirming the response format is correct. The API documentation should be referred to gain more details about the response headers. For verifying the response header, we can follow the similar three approaches like we discussed in the earlier video for verifying the status code and content type. If you have not watched the video, do watch it for more details. The link is provided in the description of this video. Now, like I said, there are three approaches that can be used to perform the verification of the headers, response headers. The first approach is to use the method chaining and directly verify the response header. In this particular test, it will hit the get API request of endpoint, get all orders, and then verify that the header, the name of the header is content type, and it will verify that it has the value application/json char set equal to UTF-8. This is what the direct verification means. Like using a given when, get, then header and status code. An additional check is also performed here to check that the status code is 200 along with the header. The header name is content type and the value is application/json along with char set UTF-8. The second approach is to extract the response after hitting the get API request and then write an assert statement. This assert equals is a static method imported from testng library. And what we are doing here is we are performing an expected and the actual verification. The expected is what we are expecting, application/json, char set, and so on. And the actual value comes from the get header method content type. So this response object contains full information of the response. Using get header method on the response and then supplying the name will fetch the required header for us. And accordingly, this assert equals will perform an assertion. Similarly, we can also extract the header content length, which can also be asserted along with the other headers like content type. This is just an example to show you that the headers can be of multiple types and there can be multiple names. Different headers can be supplied and fetched in the response. So one of them is content type, another one is content length. Similarly, you can check out the documentation for the response, what kind of response headers you get, and accordingly you can perform a verification on that. The third approach is to extract the header directly. In this case, second approach, we were extracting the response and then we were getting the header from it. But rest assured also allows us to directly extract the header given when, get, then extract header and the name of the header that you want to extract. Similarly, using testng's assert equals, we can perform an assertion, the expected and the actual value. But most of the time, we perform a method chaining or direct verification. This is most handy approach and popularly used. Let me quickly run this test and check out the output. We can see the test passed successfully. There was a statement system out print line. That is why this content length has been printed here. This is just to show that there are different headers and we can supply the name of the header to get its actual value. Logging the request and response details. Logging the request and the response details helps in understanding how the request was sent and assist in debugging. Rest assured allows to log all the details including headers, URI, query, and path parameters, body, cookies, etc. in the request. It also allows to log the details such as response status code, response body, header, content type, content length, and cookies that helps us in debugging the response easily. I have these two different classes here. Let's walk through the test request login first, and then we will check out the response login. This is a simple test method without any logging. It will just hit this get all orders and verify that the status code 200 is returned in the response. Let me run this quickly. You can see there is no output provided in the console. So I'm not sure what was the request body, the different parameters that were sent, and what was the response body, whether it fetched all of the records that are available in the system or it just verified that 200 status code. So I'm not sure what data is being returned. So to log that, there are multiple methods that are provided by rest assured to log the request so that we can perform that debugging easily. So how do we use these methods? It's pretty simple. Like given this is a this test log request URI method actually hits a post API to generate some order into the system. A single order. I have provided a hard-coded body that will be used to send the request body to create an order in the system. The content type will be in the JSON format. And after when there is a method called log URI. So this log method will log the request. And what it will log? It will log the URI. Only the URI that is sent in the request. So let me quickly run this test. And you can see the request URI, whatever URI that we wanted to hit has been hit successfully. We can also log the query and the path parameters in the request. So for example, in this particular test, it hits the get API request of get order and it uses the query param ID and parameter value is 1. And it will verify that the order with the ID 1 is available in the system and it will verify that the status code 200 is retrieved in the response. So let me run this test quickly. It will just provide me the details of the parameters that are sent. So you can see the query param ID equal to 1 was sent. That is totally correct that we wanted to send. And this log dot params actually fetches us the details for these parameters. In this particular test, it will send the order details. The request body is hard coded and it will log the body now in the request and verify that the status code 201 is returned after hitting the add order. That means the order got created successfully. But I want to verify what was sent in the request body. The value that I am sending here currently is being correctly set in the request body or not. So let me quickly run this test and verify the output. So you can see the body that we generated in the hard-coded string, the same request body was sent successfully. Similarly, we can also check for the method, like what method it is supplying in the request. This log.method will print the method that is sent in the request. Let me quickly run this again. This is another test log request method. And you can see the request method is post. Similarly, if you hit this .log method for a get API, it will print the request method as get. Similarly, we can also log the headers in the request. What headers were sent in the request. Now this is how it works. .log .headers. Now this is a get API and it will hit this /get order API with ID 1. So it will fetch the values of the order with ID 1. Let's run this and see what headers are sent in the request. It ran successfully. Let me just bring this up. And we can see there is only one header that is been sent except equal to */*. Rest assured also allows to print all of the request information which are required for easy debugging and verifying the information that is sent in the request. We can use .all. This is most popularly and widely used. Most of the engineers use this .log .all as it fetches all of the required details for us. So instead of supplying .uri, .method, .headers, .body, we can directly pass on .log .all and it will print all of the log information. You can see it printed the request method, request URI, the different parameters, the headers, cookies, multiparts, body, and so on. So this is how we can use the REST assured framework to log the different request details for the required APIs for easy debugging. Now let's move to the next part where we will be learning about the response details, logging the response details. In the response, after .then method, we can pass on the .log method and it provides multiple methods. REST assured provides multiple methods. The first one is status. So after hitting this order, I'm not sure what kind of response status is returned. So ideally, we can perform a response verification check. But here, apart from performing the request verification check, we can also log the status code. So let me quickly run this. So we can see the request was sent successfully. And in the response, the status code 201 created, HTTP 1.1 created was returned. Similarly, we can print the headers also. After then, .log .headers, it will print the headers that are fetched in the response. And we can see these are all the header details. We can also print the response body. In the previous demonstration for the request logging details, we were not getting any details. When we hit this get order with ID1, what body we are getting in the response, it will get printed here. So after dot log, then we call the dot body method. Let me quickly run this and check the output. And we can see it prints the response body which says message order found. It printed the order successfully with ID1. So we can make sure that whatever query parameter we gave, it is fetching the details successfully for that respective parameters only. And finally, we can use .log.all. This log all will log all the details of the response like status code, response body, headers, content type, content length, cookies, and so on. Like I mentioned in request, widely used is .log.all for getting all of the information at once. Similarly, for response also, developers and testers prefer using .log.all as it prints all the necessary information in one go. So let me quickly run this and you will see the difference yourself. We got the status code, we got the headers, we got the body and everything here. So this .log.all is quite helpful for the request as well as the response logging. That's all for this video. In the next video, we'll learn how to send a post request with REST assured. Thanks for watching.